Today, I'm answering your questions about coronavirus, COVID-19, and your dog. I'm a canine behavior consultant and veterinary nurse, and as much as I love the topic of infectious diseases, I am in no way, shape, or form an epidemiologist. So, to help better tackle the questions that I've been receiving, I brought in an expert in the field. My good friend, Dr. Elizabeth Broel, is a veterinarian who has a master's in public health and is board certified in infectious diseases. So we got together to provide you the best information possible as of right now to help keep you and your pet safe. Let's get right into the questions. This is perhaps the most common question that I receive. And yes, your dog can contract coronavirus. But to put it in a better perspective, the real question that people probably want to ask is, can they get a disease from it? Can they get sick? The disease that's caused by the virus in question is COVID-19. So think of it like this. There's a bunch of different coronaviruses out there, and there's one specific strand of virus, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, that causes the disease COVID-19. So as of today, March 15th, your dog cannot contract that strain of the virus that will cause the disease COVID-19. Great question. And though this is primarily a dog channel, of course we're worried about other pets in our household as well. So the short answer is yes, other pets in your household can contract coronaviruses as well. However, they cannot, as of this point in time that we know of, contract the specific coronavirus strain that leads to the disease COVID-19. So to put it in simple terms, viruses are made up of proteins, and they have a specific shape to those proteins. And when they enter the body, in order to cause an infection and therefore disease in the dogs, they have to actually bind to cell receptors. So the shape of the proteins that are looking to bind have to actually match the shape of the receptor to which it's going to bind to. If it doesn't bind, it doesn't cause infection and therefore disease. So what we're seeing in dogs right now is that the shape of the cell receptors doesn't fit the SARS-CoV-2 virus strain proteins adequately. In fact, there's a recent article that came out from a study in the Journal of Virology, and I'll put that link below in case you want to read that study, about how the receptors in other animals might be easier for binding this virus in particular, such as cats, non-human primates, and ferrets, even more so than the receptors in dogs. So it's leaning towards evidentially that it might be easier for other animals to contract this virus more so than our canine companions. Yes, there is a dog in Hong Kong that they're following closely. They've actually taken 4 samples from this dog, both orally and nasally, and that has popped up with a weak positive for carrying SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19. The reason they started testing this dog was because its owner came down with the disease. Now, after testing positive, a weak positive with those samples, they went ahead and did a blood test and ran serology on this dog. Now in the blood test, there were no measurable antibodies noted in the blood at all, signifying that the dog doesn't actually have the disease. Now, antibodies, what are those? Well, think of them as the body's response system to an invader. So if there's no invader, there's no response system to that invasion either. And that's what they're noting, is that there's no response system to an invasion, which makes us believe that there's not actually an infection happening at all. They are going to retest this dog in about 14 days from the last time that they did a blood test, just to either confirm results or decide basically whether the dog was actually infected with the virus, SARS-CoV-2, or whether it was just carrying the virus on the outside of its body or in those nasal and oral samples. Again, just to be very clear with the language, I think the real question here that people are asking is, can I contract the specific strain of virus, the SARS-CoV-2, that causes me to get sick, that causes the disease COVID-19 from my dog? In short, yes, you can. And you can also contract that from or pick up that virus from any other surface, such as a shopping cart, from one of your kids, from your countertops where you prepare food, or even from this mug, for example. There are actually reports out there that people are abandoning their dogs, their pets, at shelters because they're concerned having the dog in the house puts them at higher risk for contracting the disease or the illness than not having their dog. And unfortunately, it's completely untrue. You're no more likely to contract this virus, SARS-CoV-2, which leads to the illness, from your dog than you are any other surface. Yes, there is a canine coronavirus. Now remember that coronavirus is a general term for all these different types of viruses that basically all store their genetic information in RNA as opposed to DNA. So that kind of makes up the family of all these different types of pathogens, viruses, under one category, coronaviruses. Now under coronaviruses, there's the canine coronavirus, but that is different and separate from the SARS-CoV-2, which causes the illness COVID-19, which everyone's worried about getting sick from. So remember that even though you have this broad category of coronaviruses, the coronavirus that causes the canine illnesses is separate from the coronavirus that causes the illness in people, which is COVID-19. I've had several friends and family reach out to ask if there are any specific precautions that I'm taking personally because of this pandemic. And absolutely there are some precautions. Reason being, we don't actually know how this is going to affect us and or our pets just yet, since it's such a new strain of virus. So I wanted to share some of the advice that I've given them just based on some of my own precautions. The first thing being vaccines. Vaccines are really the key to combating strains of coronavirus that we already know exist. So call your veterinarian and make sure that your pets are actually current on the vaccines against the strains that we can already protect against. Some of these vaccines are combos like distemper parvovirus vaccine, but also the canine bordetella vaccine and canine influenza vaccine. The second precaution I'm taking is just basic hygiene, making sure that I'm properly washing my hands in accordance with the CDC. 20 seconds at a time. So check out the CDC's website for basic hygiene recommendations, but I'm just following all of those basic hygiene principles and precautions when it comes to my dogs and to help prevent the spread through other humans as well. The third thing, and this is probably going to be very tough for some of you, but it's important to know, no make-out sessions with your dog. That's right. It's very easy to transmit a variety of different viruses and bacteria through kissing your dog on the mouth or in the face. So especially during this time when we have something brand new that we're concerned about the spread of and we don't fully understand yet, it's a good time to hold off on some of those makeout sessions. Give your dog lots of extra belly rubs, but avoid the face-to-face contact just to minimize the risk. Hopefully that helped answer some of your questions about COVID-19 and the coronavirus and some differences between that, as well as giving you some ideas as to what you can do to help prevent the spread of this disease from human to human, but also from human to canine. If you have any further questions, please feel free to drop those in the comments below and I'll do the best that I can to answer those for you. If you like this video, please be sure to let me know by hitting that like button and go ahead and hit the subscribe and the bell notification if you want to receive many more just like it. Thanks again and stay safe and healthy.